All right, guys, so hopefully this all works out. This is the lesson from November 17th and 18th together. I'm only going to actually record the 17th and then give you the link for the 18th because the 18th was a practice activity. All right, so starting on the warm-up, we are going to be simplifying the expression, open parentheses 4x, close parentheses squared, over x minus 2. Reminder, you can do this in Desmos, but I, again, personally prefer to do it by hand. So we're going to distribute the squared on the top. So that's 4 squared times x squared. And we get x to the negative 2. Remember, when we're dividing, we are going to subtract the exponents, and we need to keep both. So that's x to the 4th. So we get 4 squared, which is 16. And we get x to the 4th. So our answer is 16x to the 4th. A reminder, if you do this in Desmos, you do have to change the variable and set a value. So let's go ahead and take a look here. If I say we have a equals, let's say 3, because it can't be, we don't want to use 0 or 1. I guess it could be 2. Let's make a smaller number. And then we're going to say 16a to the, sorry, the original problem was 4. Variable, and we're going to square that, and that is going to be over variable raised to the negative 2, and we want 256. So the answer we chose was 16a to the 6th, or x to the, 4th, and that is also 256. Remember, if you want to include screenshots in your notes, you can hit Control-Shift-S, capture the area you're interested in, and I Control-C so I can copy, but you can also save it so that it can be in a file on your computer. What we're going to do today is find roots, solutions, and zeros of quadratic functions so that we can factor trinomials and quadratic equations. And we know we'll have it when we can do factor and solve equations algebraically and using Desmos. Now, we're going to look here. Which of the following is not a word for x-intercept? We are given the options of zeros, domain, solutions, and roots. We do have a little image here for you to look at. Now, although all of these things are related to the x values, domain is not another word for x-intercept. A reminder, domain is the all possible inputs. And then, of course, zero, solutions, and roots are words that we use to describe the x-intercepts. Any two numbers that can be multiplied together to give us our answer are the factors, whereas the answer is the product. So anytime we need to find a factor, we would just think of all the numbers it's divisible by. So again, in this case, they did 20. We could do 15. We could do 45. And as a reminder, you can do this in Desmos if you need to know all the numbers that something is divisible by. Just click Y equals the number you want. So let's say 62. And I'm going to divide it by x. Okay. And I am shift that just a little. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to go to Edit List, and then I'm going to click Create Table. And I don't want the 0 because it's undefined. So let's delete it. And what we're going to look for is positive whole numbers. So we're going to delete these. Oops. And delete. Okay, so we want any positive whole numbers in our y column. And it's a lot in this case. But we actually could have stopped way back here, because you'll notice that we are no longer getting whole numbers. So when things start to wrap back around, we know that we're going to keep it. So in this case, it's only 162 and 2 and 31. Okay, but let's say I change this to 45. I can also change this to 45, and it also will save, do the same thing. So it's 45 and 1, 15 and 3, 9 and 5, and then when we get back down to 5 and 9, that's when it wraps around, we could stop. Factoring expressions just means to break it into smaller pieces, just the way factoring a number means to break it into smaller pieces. What two expressions can be multiplied together to give us the product that we're looking for. And again, we can do this in Desmos as well. So what happens when we graph them? So let's take a look. Our product is y equals x squared minus 3x minus 40. And our factors are x minus 8 and x plus 5. Okay? And we can see that those lines go through our solutions. Okay? And if we were to write them together next to each other for multiplication, we could actually see them overlap. So when we multiply those two together, we can see that that purple line is going to cover up that red line. So that's very useful. Okay, so anytime the linear factors will cross the solutions. When we write it out as the factors, we call that factored form. And you can graph it again to double check it, same like I showed you in that image when I was turning it on and off. This is how we factor by graphing. Okay, we don't normally do this way. Factoring by graphing is not one of the traditional ways to factor. It does require that you have some information ahead of time. There are many ways to factor expressions, but for the purposes of this class, this is going to be your easiest way. I will also be sharing a video from my favorite math YouTube channel at the end of this to show you other solutions of how to factor, other ways to factor. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to try and figure out which ones we can eliminate. Okay, there is one here we can eliminate. That's testing strategy, remember? So first things first, testing strats. Can I eliminate? Okay, so what we're going to do is look at these last two numbers. And do they multiply to give us 6, which is our last number? The answer is for most of them, yes, except D. 6 times 5 is 30. So we know that the answer is not D because 6 times 5 is 30. And that will save us some time. Another thing we can do is look and see, can we combine these two numbers in the middle to give us positive 5? But that does require us to know more about factoring. So the first thing we're going to do on our calculator in Desmos is graph the original function. So y equals x squared plus 5x plus 6 And then we're going to graph the answer choices. Okay. We have our blue one. We had x plus 2, oops, x plus 3. And then we had x plus 1 times x plus 5. And we can see that only the green one covers up the red one, covers up the original. So what I'm going to do is say, if I turn off this one and this one, it says I have 2 graphs, but it looks like I only have 1. So that's going to be our answer, is the one that matches. All right. All right, so given that information, we can look at this picture and determine that our answer was in fact B. The plus 2 and the plus 3. All right, what are the factors of 2x squared minus x minus 10? Now again, in this one, they did not give us the choice of one of the factors. Okay. So what we're going to do is test the linear factors. So we'll test each of these and see if they go through one of the solutions for the original. Okay. So I'm just going to keep these marked. Okay. Let's see. We have x plus 2, x plus 10, or minus 10. That one's off the recording, so you can't even see it. 2x minus 5, and 2x plus 5. Now, if you have more experience in what you're looking at here, you would be able to figure out which one is the best. But we can see here that green and black go through, so I'm going to turn off all of the other ones. And that way we only have the answer. Okay, so we only the green and the black. So that was 2x minus 5 and x plus 2. Okay. Now, what I want you guys to do is if you are still having any questions on these, click on this practice and it will sign you in or let you go to Nearpod. Just put your name so you can just your regular name, whatever I call you. So I'm going to say, you guys all, a lot of y'all call me Miss Teacher Lady, right? So that's what we're going to say my name is. And then what you're going to do is look at the answers here. Like they're giving you some information, reminders, and then here you're going to go here and try and factor. So let's say our first question was 3x squared minus 8x plus 4. Okay. Delete. 3x squared minus 8x plus 4. Right. And we want to know if any of these other choices go through. Okay. So our choices are 3x minus 2, I think. Yep. 3x minus 2. That one does go through, so we're going to go ahead and keep it. And in this case, we can just mark it here. Put it right here. And then we already have the 3, so let's not look for something with a 3 in the front. Let's check this one because minus 2 and minus 2 equals positive 4. So let's try x minus 2. And that also goes through my other solution. So then I'm going to put that answer choice there. Do the same thing here. We know we're going to have one of these 3 x's. I think it's going to be minus 7 and plus 8, or plus 4. And then I think this one's going to be 4x and x plus 3. Now, do I know for sure that these are my correct answers right now? Let's just find out. All right. So we have 3x squared minus 17x minus 28. Okay. And then I said I thought it was 3x plus 4 and x minus 7. Those go through, so I'm good. Okay. And you can just check your answers and then click submit. This one doesn't grade it, so you're just going to have to hope that you got it right. Different types of the quadratic. They want you to put the answer, so they're going to look here for -3. So you're going to hit this little dot right here. Should be able to put an answer there, or maybe that's a screenshot. My apologies, guys. Right, in this one, you're going to match the domain or the answers to the solutions or the graph. So you're going to graph these and then find where the x-intercepts are. Right. Find a solution. Answer these multiple choice questions that are coming up. I'm going to skip them for now. It's going to tell me I didn't get any of the answers right. Don't worry. And then you're going to play the game. Okay? So do your best. Have fun with it. All right, here's our exit tickets. Which function is the factored form of 2x squared plus 7x plus 3? See what happens if I copy and paste that. I just need to change that to a squared. And then I would just look at these, what solutions we have. And look at our options. So we have a -3. So let's look here. Where do we have a -3? X minus 3. It's probably this one. So let's try this one. 2x plus 1 and x minus 3. Nice. And x minus 3. Was it x minus 3? Ooh, see, that didn't work. So let's try x plus 3. All right, there we go. X plus 3. So our answer was this one. But notice how when I knew what the solutions were, I was able to at least pick 2 that were good to start with. And then I only ended up having to check a total of 2 answer choices. Right? And then is x plus 3 a factor of 2x squared plus 7x plus 3? Well, let's find out. 2x squared plus 7x plus 3. Now, it goes through -3, x minus 3. So let's just graph x plus 3. That's what it wants me to check. X plus 3 goes through x minus, or it goes through x equals -3. So the answer is yes, because it crosses a solution. Or you can say they share an x-intercept. Okay, I'll make that bigger. And then I'm actually going to put the picture as well. All right. So don't forget, guys, you can always reach out to me if you have any questions. Please do the Nearpod because it will be good review. Tomorrow is, I believe, a redo rodeo. So if something goes wrong, you can go ahead and finish up with this stuff. And have a good day. Be safe.